Lexus has the RX, the NX, and now the TX. I'm Tom Voelk for the Seattle International Auto Show, and this is a roomy three-row crossover, exactly what the brand needs.
So TX is really important for our brand for several reasons, one of which is the fact that this is the first ever Lexus that is purpose-built for North America.
I'm at the press launch in Austin, Texas. Let's get that obvious gag out of the way. And while this might suggest the Lone Star State, it's manufactured in Indiana. For those paying attention, the Toyota Grand Highlander, built in the same factory, shares a similar size and family mover mission. The TX rides on the same GAK platform as the Toyota Grand Highlander. That's just smart product planning. All automakers do it. This has additional spot welds and adhesives in the chassis. The steering rack and the back end are beefed up, so the entire structure is stronger and more Lexus-like. There are three models. Pricing? A front-drive TX 350 starts at around $55,000. All-wheel drive adds just $1,600. Highly recommended. It adds a more secure feel. Move to the 500h F-Sport Performance and prices rise significantly, beginning at some $69,000, and chances are buyers will add option packages. There's no word on the 550h Plus plug-in hybrid pricing just yet. It won't start shipping until the first quarter of 2024, but expect an upcharge in the neighborhood of $10,000 over the standard 500h. TX is not intended for intense off-roading like LX600. Ground clearance is just under 8 inches. It seats either 6 or 7. Only the 350 is available with a 3-passenger bench in the middle. Lexus engineers are realistic about the back. There are belts for just 2 here. Let's cover the 3 powertrains. TX 350 is the volume model. Lexus figures it'll make up 80% of sales. It's motivated by a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 275 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. That's coupled to an 8-speed gearbox with manual control. It can be had with front or all-wheel drive that has a shaft running to the back. TX 500h is strictly an F-Sport performance model with direct 4 all-wheel drive, meaning the back tires are electrically driven, no drive shaft to the rear. Plus, it alone gets rear-wheel steering and adaptive dampers. The parallel hybrid system's electric motors and 2.4-liter Turbo 4 make a total of 366 horsepower and 409 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is a 6-speed in this case. And there's the 550h Plus, a plug-in hybrid with an estimated all-electric range of 33 miles. The gas side is a 3.5-liter V6, and the total output is 404 horsepower. Lexus is coy with the torque figures. Direct 4 all-wheel drive is standard. Here, the transmission is an electronic continuously variable unit with a very natural feel while driving. All TX models can tug up to 5,000 pounds, compared to the LX that pulls 8,000. Go with the base turbocharged 4-cylinder in the 350, and you're looking at a 0 to 60 sprint of about 8 seconds, and it's fine. This is the 500h, and it is significantly quicker. This will spool up to 60 miles an hour in about 6 seconds, so yeah, definitely more satisfying. 550h Plus is a few tenths of a second faster to that benchmark. With active noise cancellation, all of them are quiet, and all of them deliver on the brand's promise of a premium ride quality. I prefer the dynamic of this 500h F-Sport. Lexus talks about its Lexus driving signature, which is essentially a controlled dynamic, but still very comfortable. I mean, this is what you should expect from the brand. It is comfortable and it's never sloppy. And I have to say, I really do believe that the F-Sport model has a little bit of an edge over the other two that I've driven. The 1-2 punch of the F-Sport's unique adaptive dampers and trick rear setup make a difference when you drive all these models back to back. All right, let's check out the rear wheel steering, see how tight it is. Wow. Okay, that's impressive. Terrific for urban maneuvers. I like this. And it definitely feels tighter than the other two models that I've driven. Visibility is quite good. The seating position is high, exactly what the masses want these days. Hit large potholes and yeah, there's a little body quiver. The structure does feel more buttoned down than sister Grand Highlander. Let's talk fuel economy. All TXs prefer premium fuel. The regular 350, which is the turbocharged 4, should return an EPA average of 23 miles per gallon. This 500H hybrid, 27. So it's not Prius-like efficiency, but it is more powerful and it is more fun to drive and it is more efficient. The 550H Plus is estimated at 29 miles per gallon average when running on gas only, but with 33 miles of all-electric range, it can be far more efficient than other TXs, as long as it's plugged in. TX gets a solid suite of standard ADAS features like adaptive cruise, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, and a confident lane keeping assist. Good stuff. Here's the cabin of the base 350. All TX interiors seem to be designed to take a fair amount of abuse from growing families. Materials have a sturdy appearance. This is synthetic leather or Nulux. The 550H Plus plug-in hybrid here gets an upgraded ambiance with standard semi-aniline leather. Touch points are soft and comfy. Ambient lighting is an option. To get out of a modern Lexus, push the electric door release. If there's a power failure, it can be pulled as a mechanical latch.
So we've actually got modular cup holders. So these can be popped out of the front center console and placed in the second center console if you have the captain's chair set up, or within the third row.
The standard entertainment screen is a large 14-incher, and it runs the new Lexus interface, which really doesn't have much of a home screen. There are a couple rotary dials, but largely controls are on the touch surface. It's really designed to be connected to a data plan that enables natural voice commands. Using the wake phrase, "Hey Lexus, is there any good barbecue nearby?"
I found 15 results. The first is Ironworks Barbecue at Red River Street. Would you like to go to that one?
Wireless phone charging is standard. Every seat in the TX has a USB port. Most folks will use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Both are wireless. Options include a digital mirror, good for when cargo is stacked to the roof, a bird's eye camera system, phone as key tech, and automated parking. Lexus marketing talks about every seat in the TX being the best one in the house. Arguably, the second row has the advantage. The mid-row does mid-row things. There can be an enormous amount of legroom if there's no one in the wayback, but be considerate, right? And these chairs can be heated and vented, just like the fronts. It depends on the trim level, of course. Separate climates? Of course, that's standard. Lots of charging options. The center console is removable if that's something you want to ditch. Even without it, there are enough storage cubbies to organize stuff.
So the easiest way to access the third row is going to be by touching this button that's up here at the shoulder area of the second row seat. And that is actually going to slide forward as well as tilt forward for us so that we have a very clean and easy path into that third row. There's also several kind of tactile touch points on this vehicle that were very thoughtfully engineered for accessing the third row. There's a grab handle for pulling yourself in. There's also a really flat space that you can kind of push yourself out with. And then something as simple as a seatbelt latch to make sure that that seatbelt is pulled back and out of the kind of footpath for our guests and passengers.
Small kids that can't reach the quick release button up top can just do this. With ground clearance at just under 8 inches, it's not much of a hike up and in, or go between the two captain's chairs. Room in the wayback is about the same as a Grand Highlander. That shouldn't come as any surprise. Comfort depends on how generous those in the second row are. I've got this seat about midway, and this is decent. Footroom is fine for a 3-row crossover, and the floor is nice and flat. Cushions are low, just like any 3-row crossover, so knees are up high. There are lots of features back here. Cup holders, a little slot there for your iPad, and lots of USB ports. Overall, this is about as good as you're going to get in a 3-row crossover. For more room, you would go with the van, but Lexus doesn't sell those in the United States. Maybe go with a top trim Sienna. There's some 20 cubic feet behind row 3. Lexus says that's good for 7 carry-on suitcases. I'll argue 6 if they're among the larger ones that you can take aboard. Storage under here is minimal. All but the plug-in TX get a temporary spare tire. Some bag hooks back here would be nice. Being a large rig, optional powered seat backs are good to have. Not so much for lowering, but for bringing them back up, especially for smaller folks. They're not particularly quick. Those controls are duplicated at the back door, how Lexus-like. Drop row 3 and cargo room rises to 57.4 cubic feet, and I'll note that this space is far more usable than what's found in Toyota Sequoia and Lexus LX. Those are body-on-frame platforms. Not carrying passengers? Space grows to 97 cubes, making this the Texas of Lexus cargo space. TX makes good use of its interior. For similar usability, there's always Grand Highlander at a lower price. If your kids are going to tear up the cabin, maybe that's the way to go. But the TX does offer a premium experience, and every harried parent can appreciate that while schlepping the brew here, there, and everywhere. Overall, this is exactly what the Lexus customer wants. 3 roomy rows, decent efficiency, and good, comfortable driving dynamics. Lexus believes this is going to be a runaway hit, probably its best-selling vehicle after the RX and the NX. The TX 350 and 500h are in showrooms now. Head to your local Lexus dealer, maybe bring your kids' soccer team for a very realistic test drive. For the Seattle International Auto Show, I'm Tom Voelk.